Okay, I'm looking at local support and just looking at a change that has been proposed. It's a change to this pop-up. And we have said maybe we can rewrite it like this, although we seem to be getting some errors. So I'm going to pop in a debugger there, and hopefully we can get some action at the Rails console. And it also seems like we have some strange indenting here. Well, I want to undo all of those changes, they're mad. That looks a lot better. Well, let's do an end. Yeah, this is better. Now, why does a div end at the bottom? It isn't launched at the beginning. That's interesting. Right. So let's fire up the server. Oops, not started. Don't know what it's doing now. Yeah, no such command. See when that is up. Login. No. Have we got sound? We've got a little sound. Doesn't seem very loud. Just squeak the sound up a bit. Should be a bit better. Now, how's this doing? Yes, it logged in. So, should be able to run. It's gone. Yeah, Rails server. So I'll just run Rails S and see where we end up. Because I have to do I'll start up rsync as well. So we get any more changes. That's odd. Oh, this is the wrong one. current vagrant file. We don't have rsync switched on.
Hi, David.
Hi, Marion.
How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Just looking at my vagrant setup. Of course, I've switched branches, which means that when my vagrant starts up, it doesn't get synchronization. So, actually, I think it's got a sync folder. So it should be all right. It's just the slower syncing method, so it should be all right.
Oh, I think I might have to reboot my computer.
I'm gonna have to
I know
log
what it
into
is.
my server here.
Skype is a problem, I think, when I have Skype. Like, it's not. I'm not even logged in. It's just there.
Yeah.
That slows things
It's
down.
making the computer unstable.
Well, it's making it slow.
Oh.
So I type something in and then sit back and wait for the keys to show up on the characters to show up on the screen. It was Skype.
So, yeah.
I never did get to website 1.
Okay. Are they still meeting?
What?
I imagine so. Is the meeting still going on at website 1?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the meeting was about. But I was going to
Oh,
try
you
to
mean you didn't get to finish that tour? Oh,
yeah,
that feature. Yeah.
it's not a big deal, but I had a phone call and it just finished.
I'm going to open up GitHub and read what Sam's suggestion was here, because I thought it'd be kind of a good idea to look at what Sam suggested on the map volunteers map or map volunteers branch. 3 comments. Right. So, these are pull requests he's put in himself. Got so many things outstanding, but I think that this is the one that he's hoping to pull in for tomorrow. Oh yeah, it was this. It was this statement here, which I think he's described in more detail here. So I tried replacing it, and I got a bunch of errors that really seemed to be stopping the pages rendering. At least those are the errors that were coming up from RSpec. So I think I was just being a bit too naive in the way I did it.
Let me see. So I want to look at pull requests. Where am I?
Oh no, I've got nothing seeded in this database. Let's see, nothing turned on, no features turned on. I better do that.
So you tried to replace volunteer op. Let's see. I think let's look at the model. First, where was it in find all my organizations?
It's in popup underscore popup.html. Right, I think I need to turn on features for the this RSpec doesn't mind, but actually, in that case, for speed, I shall just run RSpec instead of the waiting till I've got the server set up with enough data.
Yeah, true. Or you could use your little script. You wrote.
Yeah. Even then, that'll take me longer. Go find it and then paste it in. Views. Well, this is one of the specs that's blowing up. Having said that, don't we have some similar code in the index?
I'm finding your audio to be quite choppy at the moment.
Yeah, for me too.
Right. What if I'm running out of bandwidth? No, if I turn up the video quality, that'll make it worse. Maybe I've turned the audio up too high. I'll turn it down in the control panel. Right. Does that make any difference?
Maybe. It was a little better, but we need a bigger sample.
I'll keep talking. We'll see.
No,
We'll see how it works out.
it's not better.
Yeah. I'll have to let somebody else drive and talk.
What are you guys
I'm
working
not sure
on?
what I've changed, except I wonder if I could. Well, no, if I go out of the Hangout and come back, it'll stop the recording, but the Hangout will still be there. Oh,
No, it won't stop the recording. If you just jump in and out, it has like a 5-minute thing. It carries on recording. You won't lose the broadcast if you just jump in and out quickly.
I'll do that. See if I can get a better connection.
David just mentioned that making this change broke everything, so I was just trying it out.
Okay, I'm not sorry. I had David's screen on. When you say this change, you mean
the volunteer op.find all by organization ID org ID replaced by org.volunteerops, perhaps.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Well, maybe we can have a look at that together.
Yeah. And that was on the pop-up, so I don't know. I think it's fine.
Oh, it's working for you. I must have missed something or not have something set up correctly for the tests.
Maybe. Did you leave and come back, David?
That's great. No, I'll do that now.
Okay. All right. So
no, when I left, did you see the dialogue that came up on my screen when I tried to leave? It says,
what did it say?
Do you want to exit? Do you want to exit your broadcast?
No, it'll say continue broadcast.
I say continue broadcast. I don't get to leave. I'm still in the Hangout.
How are you? Oh, really? That's very strange. That's not.
Yeah, I'm still here.
So that's if you click the top X in your. What if you
No,
kill Chrome from the command line, and then come back in?
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, close.
That worked. Okay. Yes. Let me go and look at the. I'll take a layer off. Yeah. Okay. Yes. No. All that feedback was just from reading the code rather than actually running different bits and pieces. Let me go and look at the pull request itself. If I go and I've got a local support window somewhere here. Probably that one. Okay. Go screen share here.
Yes, I think the big things were to add a feature and pull out the validations into a separate pull request.
Yeah. I mean, those other ones were, just aside thoughts that we shouldn't let block the other things. But that's I'm intrigued if I'm going to just check how that volunteers like so. And so were you running an individual test that blew up when you made that change? Where was what point in the code was the?
That particular change was in pop-up. Views, volunteer opportunities, pop-up.
Right. I think I'm looking at the wrong project.
Are you back, David?
Yes, I'm here. Don't know if my voice is back.
Sounds a bit better, yeah. So we've got volunteer op find all by organization ID, which and presumably we've got a view spec for that somewhere. Yes. So if I just run that view spec, one of the things I'm hearing from some of the senior coders at Makers is advocating the use of feature tests in combination with unit tests on models and nothing else, which is an interesting idea.
Feature tests for everything and unit tests for models only.
Yeah, and so I mean, basically, not worrying about testing the views. I mean, this is interesting. This is particular for people. They've got their feature tests in RSpec, and they've got their model tests in RSpec, and they basically keep their controllers and views as absolutely thin as they possibly can, and pull all the functionality into the model, which we do anyway, and basically saying let the feature tests exercise the views and the controllers as a way to kind of be more lean in terms of the amount of test code that you have to maintain, which I think I don't know that's. It's a slightly different mentality. I mean, Armando was, don't worry about, use Cucumber, don't worry about the view specs, but do controller and models. And it's just interesting to hear a different opinion on that there. I'm just trying to work out which, I guess, well, I might have changed all of them. I'm just looking at here. Let's close others. So if we've got, that's the volunteer op spec. No, I was volunteer op. Those are different things.
Volunteer ops _ pop-up, I think.
Yeah, I've got. Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
I see. I've got it actually failing, David. Even though it seemed to work on the console.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm showing a debugger now on my screen, and what is interesting is that our original formulation produces this collection of volunteer opportunities, which are the two set up in the fixture. But this, which looks like it should be making the same database query, isn't. It's giving a nil collection, a nil array.
I'm seeing failing tests. Is that because organizations does not set up to say have many volunteer ops?
Well, let's just have a look at the model and find out.
Organization. It does say it has many volunteer ops. I wonder if
volunteer op is showing belongs to organization. So.
I mean that. I guess there. Yeah, it makes me want to go into. I think I've got at least one volunteer op in if I run Rails. But so you were seeing there, David. You were seeing different queries going through in the two cases, like when you run it from the console. So here, if I go, so we're
Yes.
talking about organization.
This is from the console in inside RSpec. Yes.
Console inside RSpec. You mean not the Rails console?
Not the Rails console, no. Having put a
Okay.
debugger inside of RSpec.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just ran it on the command line in the console, and I got my organization and my volunteer op, and that worked, and it returned an array of ops. So that's
So maybe we have the test set up
Am
incorrectly.
I looking at which bit of your screen should I be looking at, Sam?
well here. If you look at the bit that I've highlighted, this is me. I just
I think you're
grabbed an
showing
organization.
green screen on your screen.
I don't know that I am. I
Is
don't
it
think I
white?
can
It's
show
coming
Marion
through to
screen on
me.
my screen, unless I was doing some sort of
We'll
strange
just
screen
wait
share.
and see if Google will send me a proper thing. Okay, it's working for you anyway. Marion can see it.
Yeah. So I guess the interesting question there is, so this, I guess, isn't the problem perhaps that we have what's happening here is that we've got org set up to be a stub model of organization. So in this context,
yes.
we can't ask it about volunteer ops because we haven't created like a full. I mean, what we would need to do here in order to make the view spec pass is add a volunteer ops, stub to the organization, and so that it returns an array of the volunteer opportunities.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure that, yeah.
Yeah,
It does
but
start to make it.
yeah,
that's
I mean,
great.
I would say in the first instance, we could easily leave that minor. I'd say that I think that refactoring, that's relatively minor compared to the desire for a feature. And I'm now trying to find. I thought I just opened the pull request. Oh, here it is. Yeah. What was it? And yes, and removing the validation component. Yeah.
So we want to work on the feature first, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that's sensible.
Okay, I feel like everybody's driving, so who wants to drive first?
Well, why don't you drive, Maren?
Okay. So, I'll share my screen again.
Yeah. I'm just as you get so I'm reflecting that it does feel like they're like it's I think that change in terms of that refactoring makes sense in the view, because it rather than doing, I guess they both end up, maybe it's not 1/6 of one, half dozen of another.
I think it's going to end us with shorter and more easy to read code in the view and the spec.
Yeah, I think what I'm concerned about there in the spec is that we're then we're specing the organization and having I mean, it's sort of I think it adds ammunition to this idea that the view specs are kind of I'm starting to wonder if we are speccing too tightly in terms of our views and so on. But anyway, that's a whole separate thing. We can focus now on having the feature. But so I think we said, do we have we have a featured level test of the organization map. So
yeah,
the simplest thing to do would be to go and grab a copy of that.
yeah.
Or even, I guess, did you created a there was a view spec. Is there already a view spec for volunteer op that
That has some maps of it? Yes.
if we look at because what we've got is we've got this the index.html.erb spec checks for the presence of the script, doesn't it? Displays the JavaScript
I
for a
believe
Google
so, yeah.
for a
So
Google
then,
map. And we've got the map feature for the organizations. Let's have a look. Yeah, it goes
yeah,
and
I'm actually looking at it here.
I think it checks for the same XPath.
Let's see. Unclear from here. I should see. Maybe not.
I think
Maybe we
line
move this to the spec.
I think that's a separate one. That 20 on line 27 there. That's to do with this address changing thing, which I don't think we really need to worry about for the volunteer ops.
Okay.
I
I'm
think
looking at
line, yeah, looking at 19, 20, lines 19, 20, and 21 there. It says scenario: show all charities on homepage. And
Oh
just
yeah, in the map.
even when I visit the homepage. So that on 21, that checks that both that the map JavaScript is in place, and also that the names of all of those organizations are set up in order to ready for the pop-up, basically.
Okay.
And at least that works for the existing system. So
I think we should check that step definition and make sure that it actually. Did you?
I'm looking at the step definition
Okay,
itself now,
okay.
which is in map_steps.rb on lines lines 15 through 23, and that lines 15 through 23 or 17 through 22. The map steps, yeah. So 17 through 22 there. That's the same stuff that I think we've got in the spec. But if we look at line 16, it's got this check map, and it checks the three names. And then on line 30, we've got the check map method that then basically goes through and checks that we find the page should have XPath, script contains name and should match name. Yeah. We're also checking there that the Gmap for Rails thing matches that name.
Okay. So I'm gonna just pull some stuff out of the
map feature.
Well, just this really.
Yeah.
And I should see this on the map.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull like the background out of the other volunteer ops feature. Just find one. Oh. Wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, so this, I think, could just go as an additional scenario into the list volunteer opportunities.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, we could create a separate map volunteer opportunities feature, which is actually yeah. I don't know if it just justifies a separate. Could go either way there. I don't have strong feelings either way.
So let's see. See a list of current volunteer opportunities. Should I make a new scenario or just say, and I should see them in the map?
I think you should have a. Oh, what have we got? See a list of the. Yeah. You could actually just. I guess it could. I guess I'm kind of feeling conflicted in terms of this is. I'm starting to lean towards saying that we should have a map volunteer opportunities feature because it emphasizes the fact that this is it is you've done a fair amount of work there to make the map work for this, and it's sort of a high level thing that the client it's a feature request from the client, rather than it's sort of a separate thing in Pivotal Tracker. So I'm thinking maybe because in some ways, like I'm sort of thinking about someone opens the volunteer opportunities folder there of features, and it's got create list show, and then it seems like, you know, by having map up at that level, so I would say like yeah, I would call it map. I would put map as the first word but I do like map underscore volunteer opportunities following the. I mean, there's an argument almost that because they're in the volunteer opportunities folder that they could just be create list and show. But anyway, we've got that at the moment. I think that's, you know, it's useful to have volunteer ops in the name because sometimes people will be looking at the file and the isolation and they won't necessarily have access to the path. So
right, when we made the organizations map, there was no other map. There was no other index really.
No, that's right. But so here, I mean, we've got all of the other ones are volunteer. I think, I mean, that's fine in principle. Although if you haven't, you could rename it so that it was opportunities was spelled out in full. There, at least that's what we've done for the 3 other files in that folder. So I guess we should maybe follow the existing thing there. It's annoying that volunteer opportunity is so long, really, isn't it? We need a new word in English that represents the word volunteer opportunity, but is shorter and pithier, like organisation or activity or event or something. Anyway, but
okay, I'll just change it after then. Oh.
Sure.
Or I could do it then. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of all this. We don't care about this because we already checked it. Top nav bar is done. Oops, now I lost my thing. Okay, so the backgrounds as a member of the public so that I can see where organizations with volunteer opportunities are.
Sounds good.
I would like to see a map.
So this you've copied over the
Background.
Background from the other one. Makes sense.
Now I'm going to go on that other one and grab that line. Then homepage, individual channel. Okay. So what we actually want to see on the map is these 2 things.
And I think we would also expect to see the organization names as well, wouldn't we?
Yep.
I mean, I guess there's an argument for refactor, like, so that also that usage where I should see this and this and that. I guess is it better practice? I mean, that's I think that was code I originally wrote before knowing that we could do things like what we do in some other places now, which is that we have those. I've got an example here. You can have the examples syntax where you. I don't know which is more. What you think is more readable here. I mean, maybe you can go for. I mean, I should see in the Elders Association, and it's cats are us, online 20, and then the names of the 2 volunteer opportunities. I look at the map steps. I mean, we've got yeah. I mean, I've got notes in the map step file. I mean, at the moment we've got both. We've got the syntax to handle both the 2 2 things that we should see and 3 things we should see, and they do slightly different things on the back end. And, it would seem sensible to refactor them to fix that up. But since we've got both of them, I think given where you are and given how difficult it is in Vim to move backwards and forwards, I would carry on as you're going, just to get the bits in there, and let's do the refactoring once we've got this test running, so to speak.
Okay. I don't agree to it being difficult to move backwards and forwards.
In Vim. No, well, everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
I just didn't want to tacitly agree to that.
No, I understand. It's important to stand your ground on these things. I mean, I feel bad that I don't do Vim. I can see that also. One of the guys at Makers is like a total Vim holic, and works very hard there.
Marion, I've put the pivotal tracker story ID in the chat.
Oh, cool, thanks.
For later.
I'm just
No.
cool.
What did I do? Oh. And I want to get rid of the AGK.
David, if you want to sort of engage as the observer, I'm just going to try and pull together the other bits and pieces from pull requests from the other students, and maybe just start checking that they work all together.
Oh, yes. Good.
So if you want to engage Marianne, I shall move slightly into the background.
All right, I'm watching closely then.
Thanks. I don't want to hear any Vim bashing either.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's and I'll need to work on my manners. I'm just jealous, of your Vim skills. That's what it is.
Now I'm malfunctioning. Okay. You want to try running it, or?
Yeah, I mean, run it and see what happens, I would say.
Sadly, I have messed up, but I'll fix it. And okay, so we have this step is undefined.
Oh, that's weird.
Because
All right, which
I
step?
think of this part.
Oh, yeah, I think that it should be, at the moment, the way we have it set up is it just says, I should see so on and so on in the map, rather than the So, okay, so I think that, right, the centered on local organizations is appended onto the other one, and that checks, actually, that the map is focused on that was one of the things we had to add earlier on, was to force it to be fixed to a particular location. So I think if you edit the file so it just says in the map there, in principle, that would pass.
Okay.
So what's the matter with the one that says centered? I'm not
Well, I
seeing
think, and the way we have it at the moment in the map steps is we have it hard coded so that the one that takes three elements, three arguments, ends with the suffix centered on local organization, whereas the one that takes two doesn't have that suffix.
Gotcha.
But so you're getting some sort of failure there.
Yes. Probably the X path is not going to be right for these.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do we know what the script looks like for? I guess.
Yeah. Let's look at the step definition.
What are you? What's your is your branch volunteer map or something? What's the map volunteers? Yeah. I found it. I'm going to run it locally and actually look at the.
Steps line 25.
Mm-hmm.
Check map.
And that's on line 30.
Good graph. Busy traffic. Too many rail servers already running here. Shut that one down. Okay.
Organization.all2G maps. What else should match the name? I'm expecting that.
So is it failing on line 35 or line 37? Can you tell?
I think I'm almost
37. Yes, line 37 in the traceback. So yeah, line 35 is passing.
So yes, because this is organization 2G maps for Rails. So we're not actually doing 2G maps for Rails on the volunteer opportunities. We're doing it on the organization. So we need a different step for this.
Okay. So all right, it's failing specifically on line 37.
Yeah, which is
it's
right.
failing on line 37 for. It's is the previous step there's a previous step that checks for the two things in the map centered on the local organizations. Is that one passing? Because it seems like I'm seeing there, given I visit the volunteer opportunities page, and then it's saying and cookies are approved, and so it looks to oh right, okay, yeah. So it's failing there on the first. So that's even looking for the organizations, and that's failing there.
But it's looking for jobs. No, the organizations is the following step.
Yeah, maybe we should let's switch them.
Yes, great.
Because I think that will pass.
Well, I think actually what I see there is that they seem to be mixed up. Actually, we've got on line 21, we're looking for both one volunteer opportunity and one organization.
Yeah.
And on line 20,
Oh.
we've got the same.
Ah.
So, not that that doesn't mean that there isn't that other problem to solve, but we should
Yeah,
probably
right.
get that sorted out
Okay.
first.
Thanks. Okay. Victor, do you want to switch the order also?
Yeah, well, let's have the organizations. Have you got the organizations first? You have now.
I just put them first.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah. So
okay?
let's just run that, and I think if that, hopefully the organizations one will pass, and maybe the second one will then fail. But then that might be a good time to pong.
Okay. So that is what happens.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that might be a good time to pong. I guess maybe it'd be sensible to pong it over to David because I've got the beta testers meeting coming up in 20 minutes.
I've only got 20 minutes to do, so I'll make sure I bring it back before then.
Oh, well, maybe. Well, then, I mean, up to you, David. I mean, I guess it's interesting here. There's two sets of changes. I mean, there's one. I guess because the to Gmap for Rails will now not. Yeah, that's now not appropriate. I guess both of the things should be in. It feels like they should be using the example format rather than this.
True.
Things, which is something I could change around pretty fast on my side. But David, do you want to code on this?
Yes, that's.
Yeah, I guess that's sensible. Well, yeah,
It's going to be quite tricky, but yeah.
Yeah, why don't you do that, and then I can start merging in these. I can merge these other pull requests in. I've added. We've got validations now for checking that it's got an organization, and so on.
There's another table that I think we used in maybe even in the volunteer ops somewhere it's not examples, but it does a similar thing. Like you could just check that the following should be in the map, and it doesn't actually use.
Do you know which? So there's an existing step, or there's another example of using that sort of layout but without examples.
Yeah, that sort of layout without examples. I think it's in the list volunteer opportunities feature.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and push that up. List volunteer opportunities is got the. Yeah, there's one step there that says then the index should contain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can basically pass in a table and do what you want with it, really.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what you think. If you think the example syntax is unclear, that might be easier.
Yeah, I mean the.
Okay, you're updated. Punched.
Okay, good. See where I am. Right. Git reset. Oh, I hope that's right. Make table closer to the size of the map. Sounds right. Okay.
David, you're not sharing your screen right now.
I will
Thank you.
start that up now. Should take a moment. Right, so I've got volunteer opportunities feature. So you said there's kind of a table style as well as an example style.
Yeah, and that's in.
And I haven't got clear memories of how either of them
If you
work.
look at my screen, can you see my screen?
Reference, yeah.
If you look at my screen,
Yeah.
in this is in list volunteers opportunity feature. So this is the format here that you can just use you can use a little bit of a table, and there's also the examples
Scenario
formats here.
outline.
So you can use either one. The examples format, I think, effectively, it just reruns the same step over and over again, fitting in, using this syntax, the individual, what have you. If you're doing this one here and you're just saying like, we would say then the map should contain, and we were going to have like a list of things, then we have to deal with the table on the other side. So if you're not so familiar with either of them, you might want to go for the example one, just in the first instance. But, up to you.
So line 20's, well actually I'll run line 20 and run that and make sure it's passing. Here.
Or that you're getting the same failure that Marion has.
Yeah, exactly.
Volunteer.
Oh, can't run it in there. Let's fire off that. And I'm putting this out so that line 20 passes and line 21 is the scenario outline.
I don't know that you want a new scenario necessarily, do you?
I could make this an outline, I guess. I'm afraid of breaking what's working there.
Oh, right, yeah, I
Try
guess the example goes with the scenario outline.
If it all works, then I
Oh, yeah, and feel free to do it on a new one if you prefer. Yes, and right to the outline there. Yeah. Yes, and then in the examples, one could have actually a 2-column map with org and volunteer op as the titles there, and passing them into the relevant places. I don't know if that would necessarily work. But, well. Yeah, no, that would.
that's it. To check the syntax here, which files out. On screen.
You're trying to look at my screen.
Yeah, so that is the list of your opportunities.
But so, I mean, if you just hit return there on line 27, I can talk you through it, which is, I mean, just hit return and do a pipe symbol. Oh, you've got it there, yeah. And
I
then,
need to use the word that I'm using in the header and do
yeah,
it.
name. I mean,
I can do, yeah.
but so there, yeah, I know, go on, yeah.
I don't think I need the quote marks in here.
No, you don't.
So yeah, here is where I need the. Oh, haha! It's been too clever for me.
Hey.
I have a an editor that has learned how to make tables better than I can, and
Cool.
it is trying to take over. So you have got to get a mode like this for Vim. I'm sure there is one.
Yeah.
Just moves them all around. It's like
That's nice.
I don't know. It's like Lotus 123 come back from the dead. No, I'll run it just to see what happens, what kind of step definition it suggests for me.
Okay.
Oh, I've done it again. I have two terminals open, one in the host machine and one in the baked VM. And we need to make a step which will do something like this. Anything really technical is all about organization. So, because we don't do like this at all, we could either make a condition or just make a completely different method. I think it's
Your audio is breaking up a lot for me, David.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, sorry. Let me move the mic and I hope that better with it from my English.
I think it's I mean, it's a bandwidth issue rather than the microphone, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you want to kill the Chrome from the command line and jump back in again.
Yeah, I'll do that. We'll save my book. Thanks.
Have we lost David?
We'll see, won't we? Sometimes it takes a minute to come back in. It's a shame. Yes, it would be nice if everybody in the world had very, very high-speed broadband.
I was just reminiscing about last summer when I had no internet for the entire summer.
Oh, right.
Thanks to Verizon.
It certainly happens. Yeah, I've actually been. It's been pretty good here with BT since we did have that one big issue with the box, but it's been pretty stable for the last year and a half now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to step into the beta sources meeting pretty shortly. Yeah. I don't know if you had any thoughts about. I mean, I guess hopefully that this can be sort of wrapped up and
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully he'll come back and finish this part, and then we'll just pull out the validations, and then you think that's good enough to pull it in?
Good show, and I'll look to try and pull that in. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have any thoughts about the business models for Agile Ventures?
About the paid services?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a different thing. I mean, there's always a question of, what's the, who will pay for what, and what is the appropriate time to ask them to pay for anything.
Yeah, but what would they be paying for?
Well, they would be paying for the ability to, create an Agile Ventures project, but keep that project private. And they would be paying for, access to the functionality of starting Hangouts, but being able to, keep the thing private, if you know what I mean. I mean, I think at the moment the value offering that we've got, I think it's the Hangouts are great, but it's through G Plus at the moment. Like organizing events and getting it to work out is still a bit haphazard. So
would we not use G Plus, or is there a way to do it?
Yeah, I mean, we're with Agile Ventures at the moment. We're not using any G Plus functionality at all. We're just using the Hangout, and we're providing a different front end. We're providing alternative to G Plus, which is, I mean, G Plus is designed as a sort of a social network rather than particularly for organizations to organize their affairs. I mean, the idea is that Agile Ventures is kind of a distributed team solution, if you know what I mean. And so, and at the moment, anybody can use that distributed team solution, but anything they use it for will be entirely in the public domain.
Right.
So, I guess the idea is, if you thought it was a good solution, but you want the one thing that was stopping you from using it was that it was in the public, and then that's how GitHub is arguably. That's the same business model as them. But,
no, I think that's a good idea. I think people would like that. And then would they have access to like pair programming? Would they have access to us, or no? They would just have their own private.
Well, I think in principle that they would. They could see. I mean, the idea is that they would be able to see all the other pair programming sessions going on, and they'd have the ability to sort of start and schedule their own pair programming sessions. But those pair programming sessions wouldn't appear in the public listings, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether they would invite like us to join them, or would they come to the Scrum meetings, or.
Well, I think that they would. My intention is that the Scrum meetings would be explicitly for at least the public Scrums would be for non-profit things, and the idea would be that they would be able to make their own Scrums for their particular projects, but that those would then be private, and we could choose to attend. I mean, and that they would then say who their team members were and who could attend their Scrums.
Yeah.
They would, of course, be free to attend our Scrums to see how it's done, but we wouldn't be, doing discussion of their private projects in the public Scrums, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's great.
Yeah, cool.
It's really good functionality.
I think the Arrow's been adding some really useful features. Anyway, I'm going to have to slip off to the organizers meeting. Looks like David is back.
Okay.
Have fun, guys, and I'll catch up with you soon. All right.
Okay.
I have five minutes or so too. I am confused by what this is telling me about the examples. This is horrible yellow on white, so I think maybe I can.
I can read it if you can.
You can read it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
right.
okay.
So it's given me two different step definitions. Now I think I can write a match of these that doesn't involve using quote marks, but it's not suggesting one for me.
Um. Well, I don't think you need to use the quote marks. You just need to put the
Right.
regex in there. In fact, we don't need quote marks in any of our step definitions.
So we should start going back and refactoring them at some point.
Yeah.
So I just need a capture group and splat query, and is that enough?
I think you need a dot in front of the star because it's not searching for anything there.
Oh yeah, it isn't. Yeah, here it's not
And do
not
you want
quote
the
mark, only
question
like
mark? Because do we want it to match? Then the map should show the opportunity nothing. I don't think it matters.
question mark. Oh yeah, that makes it optional. Yeah, we don't want that necessarily. Now I need to kill the cucumber, which I better not do. Right. Now, can you... what's the best way to figure out what altered Gmaps for Rails was supposed to do, unless you recall already? Because I guess we want to replicate that.
Well, we really
What
can't.
that achieves.
Gmaps for Rails takes the organizations and makes them into like a string. But we're not doing that for the volunteer opportunities. What we actually want to do is just, I think what you have on, like what we have on line 38, I think that would work. And just that.
And just that.
Yeah.
So 940 is more strict, but it doesn't really do
That
what we're
does the
trying to do.
geocoding. So we're not doing that for the organizations. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting
Okay,
you
so
or
this
not
is
answering
trying to...
because you broke up a little.
Okay. Okay, so line 40 is checking for some geocoding and things. Wow, Cucumber is really slow today.
Ugh, it's horrible, this audio thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see.
I know, what can you
Is it
do?
clipping because it's too loud, or is it just kind of breaking up and sounding like a Dalek?
It's like, it could be clipping. I think it's just losing packets, though. More likely.
Well, this red color doesn't work on the dark background now.
Oh, no.
Your block takes 0 arguments, but the reject matched 1 argument.
So what
Oh, that's
line is
alright. That's
that?
fair enough. I haven't written a block yet, so
Okay.
that's alright. I've just written pending, and I have not. Well, I've written a block, but I have not forgot to put in an opportunity. And I think I just want to do check. And that should be all I have to do. You know what? I only use this once. I should just...
Yeah. Just put it inside.
I should just take that away, put it right
Yeah.
in the step. Yeah. There's nothing like doing a I think it's worth doing a refactoring too early.
So they say. I can think of a lot worse things, so.
All right, I'm exaggerating rather a lot.
and I'm being facetious.
Yeah. Precision is a virtue when it comes to coding.
Yeah.
No. No. I guess all I can do is wait right now. Apart from looking through this to see if I've done stupid things. I don't understand this comment. Actually, this is specific to checking. Oh, this is code that we might have used one day, but I'm not using any. Not using it at the moment.
When we want a generic one, page should have XPath. I don't think. I feel like these comments really don't add anything. You know, I don't know what they're talking about.
I assume that either Sam or Michael wrote them, but they're now.
John puts a lot of comments in too. And what about line 39? Why is that there? Or rather 36 now. Yeah.
Org equals organization defined by name.
Hey, so it passed?
I think it doesn't do anything. It does certainly look like it. Need to find out if it's passed for the right reasons now. All I'm looking is for this XPath, basically just saying this name is anywhere in the JavaScript. It's embedded in the page, if I understand it right. So
Yeah.
I can just we're not looking for the description. Should we have a feature of the description later on? But if I do, instead of link to op title, I would just change this to
You know, what we could do, if you wanted, was make the XPath more precise.
Wouldn't that break if something undocumented at Gmaps changed?
What was there? What was there that you just took out?
I took out the link to the opportunity.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it'll make these examples fail. The other thing I should start working on is refactoring these together, even probably before I make a commit. We can just put all of these in one. I can just say this. Oh, it means we're can use steps. So yeah, we can go ahead.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Wow, sorry.
I know. And it was good for a few minutes after you changed the volume, and then that was it.
Change the volume up a bit more. That probably makes it worse. No, it's a bandwidth problem there. But I don't know where to get extra bandwidth from right now. Oh, you know what? It's CPU usage. It could be anyway because my Cucumber is making the CPU run flat out.
Oh.
At least I hope it's. I wonder if it's the cucumber.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Depends which process is being used for the sound. One process is being used for Cucumber, and the other one's been used for Google Talk. But whether there's other, oh, I can kill these. That might save me some. Right. What that is even all about. Why it's trying to look up. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's important. Quite. And save and quit. Oh no, I don't want to save that. Oh, never mind. It's not the end of the world.
Have you got Adobe open there somewhere?
Adobe.
Yeah.
Um,
Like Adobe Reader.
yeah, I've got this. Yeah, it's not taking up very much, but yeah, I've got a
Okay.
PDF reader open.
Okay, this is good right now.
But yeah,
I always
oh, the
have
sound is
trouble
good.
with the
Yeah.
PDF.
All right, I don't use Adobe Reader. This PDF reader seems a bit more lightweight. It's not showing up in
Okay.
this list anyway.
Okay.
And I hear right. So the sound is better. I've just failed a load of scenarios, which is quite horrible.
Well, you did change the link to foobar.
Syntax. Oh, I did. And I've made a syntax error, so that's the
Ah.
wrong. Oh, I see. I just deleted far too much stuff. I mean, not enough stuff. Will that even compile? No,
Oh,
probably not
what is
even
that?
compile.
You could put org there, right? That should break it.
Oh, yeah.
Add org. Oh yeah. Yeah. Add org.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure which one is the link text and which is the link.
And it's org name, not title.
Oh yeah, so it might actually blow up. I'm just going to comment it out.
Okay.
You can't comment it like that. My editor's too intelligent for its own good.
Yes. Yeah.
Now run Cucumber again and see if the audio breaks up again. I've got 100% bubbles here.
It's breaking up again.
Let's close that. 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 Everything that I don't need.
I just got an email from Travis CI saying my volunteer opportunity is broken.
Oh, it could be one of those timeouts that they sometimes get. I think I can see here if my... Yeah, the connection shouldn't be saturated, so I'm blaming CPU, which is still running flat out.
Yeah, it sounds right.
E! Well, I misunderstood something if that passes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well,
I have the wrong way to comment stuff out.
just delete the line, maybe.
Yeah. And balance parentheses really quite cross with me. It's just too intelligent. It's got its own mind. You know what I should have done to keep the peace at this end is just to commit it and let you worry about whether it's failing for the right reason or not.
You could do that.
But we'll sort this out. In fact, in the other terminal window, I'll commit it. And at least that's done, and then I can just undo it if it's good. Yeah, I think we can say that failed for the right reasons. Good. Get push origin.
Oh, of course, my
Oh,
it failed. We hadn't done it, finish it yet. Just looking at the
pardon?
Travis. I was just looking at Travis to see why it failed. I committed a failing.
Oh, okay, on the
Feature.
feature request. Yes, okay. Well, right. If you can pull that,
Okay.
I think we have a passing feature now. And I will hopefully see you later in the week.
Okay. Yeah. Have a good night.
Alright. You too. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye then.